Hi everyone.
Can everybody hear me? So just type in the comments if you can hear me. Okay, every time I gotta do this because sometimes the audio doesn't work. Welcome to the Do Nothing Project. I'm just gonna use the mic from this thing, and then we're gonna put this lav in when Toby does the guidance, which I'll introduce Toby in a second. So hey everybody. Hi Emily. Hi Marina. Thank you for the loud and clear. Hey Fred. Hey Sarah. James. Great Ben. Mitch. Angie. So Andrew, thank you for moderating the blue font, and Lauren, if you're there. Hey Cashew, good to see you. Hey Jackson. So this is the Do Nothing Project. If you've never been here before, this is what it is. It's our little community project here, or once every week we meet on a Sunday night, and sometimes there's a theme, barely. We sit, do a 25-minute meditation. Mostly it's an experiment in doing not much together, and give ourselves a chance to reset at the end of the week before the new week begins. And so welcome back to all the regulars. I love seeing all the names. Everyone saying hi. Hey Chris. Hey Kent. Hey Heather. And welcome if it's your first time. I'd like to say good to keep the expectations low. We don't do a whole ton here. But we're going to do something special tonight because I have a friend of mine here, Toby Sola.
Hi everyone.
So Toby's a good friend of mine. He's normally lives down in where
Vermont, kind of, but now I'm going to live nomadically in the future.
Right, he's moving into nomad mode. So him and his girlfriend Hannah are staying with us as they pass through Toronto. And Toby runs a really cool app called Brightmind. So Brightmind is a meditation app that is sort of inspired by the teachings of our mutual teacher, Shinzen Young. So I thought I wanted to get Toby on to say a little bit about what's cool about this app and maybe just introduce it, and then he's going to guide a practice that's sort of representative from that app. And it's a really interesting practice. We kind of talked it over, and it's something I think that could be super useful about decision making. So I'll let you say a little bit about, you say a little bit about Brightmind or whatever you want about yourself and about the meditation. Then we'll do the meditation, 25 minutes, and then we will have a little discussion. So
yeah, cool. Thanks, Jeff. Really good to be here. Jeff and I first met actually during a Shinzen Young meditation research project. And
is that where you first met?
Yeah.
That was in 2012.
2012.
Was it Harvard or something like that?
At Harvard.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun to learn Shinzen stuff with Jeff over the years. And as Jeff mentioned, I've created Brightmind, which is a meditation app, and it's very heavily influenced by Shinzen, and it basically lays out his whole system of meditations, which, as you may know, is very thorough and clear and precise. And what that can lead to is a real impact in your daily life, and to really learn how to incorporate meditation into your daily life. There can be a learning curve to learning maybe some new terms and having to wrap your head around a few different meditation techniques, and that can be hard, but once there is a learning curve, and once you kind of get over that, it's like you have all these really powerful tools that can then really transform your life and really bring about happiness. And so that's what I've done with Brightmind. Brightmind's all in my voice, and so I'm guiding, but it's all based off of Shinzen stuff. And if you're interested in learning more about Brightmind, and if you like what we do during this meditation, you can just go to brightmind.com/do-nothing for a free month. So I'm just going to give a gift to your community, and there's like hundreds of meditations, and you'll have free access for a whole month. So just
something to try if you want to try a different kind of approach. It's true what he says, like the Shinzen, a lot of the whatever rigor I have as a meditation teacher is pretty much because of Shinzen, because he's just so clear in his terms. So this is really a great little opportunity to kind of, if you've ever been interested in him, to kind of go a little bit deeper into him. But you're going to guide a practice that is,
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with just a simple focus on sounds practice, where we'll just focus on the sounds around you. and then we'll move into decision-making meditation, which is, I think, I'm not even sure I need to say much about it, other than I might say one of the misconceptions around meditation is that it's kind of like a waste of time, like you should just go do something if you want to make yourself happier. And so we'll kind of explore how meditation is a really good way to spend your time, and it really can impact your life in a phenomenal way. And that is kind of by doing a explicit decision-making meditation where we spend time with a decision that matters to us and hopefully come forward with some clarity around that. It makes the meditation like a little bit more, oh, that's definitely worth my time. So we'll get into it
Not that it needs to be worth your time. The ethic of the Do Nothing Project is that it doesn't have to be worth anything.
Right.
And of course, if you have a tried and true practice that you like to do, you're welcome to do that, or you can just, my other invitations, you can just lay on your back and blow saliva bubbles while staring at the ceiling. That's also an excellent meditation. So, ready, bud?
Cool, yeah, so it'll be 25 minutes.
I'll plug you in here.
Okay, great.
We still finish with kind of a Do Nothing. You'll be, or a loving kindness at the end. You can figure it out.
Well, yeah, I kind of have the feel good part. I think I'm gonna leave it on the ground, or maybe I'll put it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on the ground. I'm going to use Brightmind to time the meditation because it also has an unguided timer. I'll turn the volume down though.
Nice for me to get a break to have someone else guide. I can just drop into wherever it is I drop into. Nothing really.
All right, enjoy everyone. Lengthen your spine. Tuck in your chin and lengthen your neck. Relax your shoulders and arms. Relax your face. Let your legs settle. And bring your attention to the sounds around you. Maybe you hear traffic, wind, people talking nearby. Maybe you don't hear anything. It's all good. Just pay attention to whatever you're hearing and be open to it, enjoy it.
You might hear a constant sound like a fan or the dishwasher. You might hear sounds that come and go, like car horns or people talking. You might just hear silence. It's all good, whatever you're hearing, constant sounds, sounds that come and go, silence. Just tune in to the auditory landscape around you. If your mind wanders to thoughts, body sensations, it's okay. Don't, don't try to stop the thoughts. The body sensations don't have to go away. Just let all those distractions come and go in the background of your awareness. And bring the spotlight of your attention back to whatever you're hearing. Good. As you listen, try to notice details. Where are sounds coming from? How loud are they? When do they begin and end? Are they changing? If you're listening to silence, what is that really like? Moment by moment. Clarify whatever you're hearing. Now let that go, and we'll transition to a decision-making practice. First step is to think of a decision that's been on your mind. It can be a big one, like whether to get married or whether to buy a house. It can be a small one too, though, like whether to buy peanut butter or which shirt to wear tomorrow. It's a lot of value in doing this exercise with both big and small decisions. So take a moment to think of a decision that's been on your mind. And once you have your decision, come up with 2 statements that represent the decision. An I will statement and an I will not statement. So for example, I will buy a house, I will buy a house, and I will not buy a house. So you may have to change the decision that you had in mind. You might have to simplify it in order to just get to 2 statements, an I will and an I will not. That's okay, it's part of the exercise. So take a moment to figure out your I will statement and your I will not statement that represents the decision. And now say your I will statement a few times to your mind, to yourself in your mind. So don't say it out loud, say it to yourself in your mind, and just repeat the I will statement a few times. Good. Now continue to use mental talk to list the reasons why the I will statement is a good idea. So it might sound something like, if you were deciding whether to buy apples, it might sound like, well, I think I saw that they were on sale. The rest of my family loves apples. I haven't bought them for a while, so you're listing out the reasons why the I will statement is the way to go. And if you run out of reasons, just repeat ones that you've said before. The point here is to spend time with these thoughts and really give them space. So begin listing those reasons now. Good. Continue to list the reasons behind the I will statement, and feel free to repeat stuff if you run out of reasons. Now let that go and say the I will not statement a few times to yourself in your mind. And now begin using mental talk to list out the reasons behind the I will not statement. Why is that a good idea? Good. Now let that go and we'll switch to using our imagination. Humans have an amazing ability to imagine the future. We can create mental pictures of what might happen. So we'll start with the I will statement and try to imagine your future if you go with the I will statement. And there might be multiple ways that the future could unfold. That's okay. Take your time and imagine all of them. So we're using mental pictures, mental movies, our imagination in order to play out what might happen if we go with the I will statement. And you can start doing that now. you're having trouble creating mental images, it's okay. Some people, it's kind of hard, including myself. So just do your best. A certain amount of guessing and groping is totally fine. Just try to imagine what will happen if you go with the I will statement. And now explore the I will not side of things. Use your imagination to imagine what might happen if you go with the I will not option. Good. Now let that go and bring your awareness down into your body. And we'll explore our emotional body, our intuitive body. Consider the I will option. Just drop that down into your body. Notice what comes up. You might feel emotions like excitement, joy, anxiousness. You might notice an intuitive yes or no. You may not notice anything at all, that's fine. Just be curious. What do you notice in your body? What emotions, what intuitions do you notice with the I will side of things? Now consider the I will not option and drop that into your body. What do you notice? Any emotions, intuitions, nothing? It's all good. We're just curious if our body has anything to say. From an evolutionary perspective, the body is a lot older than the mind. While there's often a lot of noise, there's also a lot of information. So what do you notice? What does your body have to say? Good. You may, at this point, you may know what to do, you may not know what to do. You may realize that you need more information. You may realize that there's another decision that you should be making that's more important. No matter where you're at, though, it's very important to feel good, to feel pride and joy, no matter what. So we'll take just a few minutes at the end here to cultivate pride and joy in our bodies. Even if we don't know what to do, we're doing the work. Making decisions, living this life is very confusing sometimes. And let's take a moment to feel good about the work that we are doing. So to the best of your ability, cultivate pride and joy in your body and enjoy that.
It's like,
Welcome. Should we unplug the thingamajiggy?
yeah.
Okay.
I think I was longer than 25 minutes.
No, I was.
We're 3 minutes over.
John, wait a minute, I'm getting a lot done while not doing anything. I've been bamboozled. It's true. I'm sorry, friends. This was an accidental do something meditation.
Yeah, it's funny. It actually is kind of, it's funnily antithetical to the.
Sometimes we need to do something in this life. Thank you, dude. That was interesting. That was, yeah. It's really powerful doing that. It's really powerful, coming up. I mean, so So actually the whole house thing, I mean, so I'll just explain my experience a little bit. Like, so Sarah and I are basically, we are in this rental until the summer, and then we have to leave because the landlords start moving in, and we really don't know where to go. And so we're kind of like, we want to buy a house because we have this other baby coming. We're gonna be 4. We just want to be settled somewhere, but we can't afford to buy a house in Toronto. You know, it's just so expensive, and our dream is to live by the beaches and where there's water, and when I talk about, so when I drop in, I will buy a house in the next year. You know, there's so much about it. Like I repeat that there's so many reasons why, in terms of the stability and the structure and the just having a feeling, a place that's your own, or a place that you can start to put roots. And so when I list the things, and already I feel more and more grounded as I'm doing it, and I go into the body, I really feel the groundedness of it. And so it's like very obvious that's, even though I have no clue how I'll do it, because the reason is when I list we're not going to buy a house because we don't have enough money. Like the amount of money you need to have to put down to be able to cover the mortgage is like more than we could basically make a year. Like it'd be insane. So it's like this really cheap reason. It's like, no, I'm not going to buy a house. And I know the only reason is because I don't have enough money. It's a good reason. But it's like, then it's like this sense of, more of just being in the not knowing, being in that continuous thing of not knowing what's going to happen each year and having to move all over again and scramble to find a place to live. And now when you got a baby and another baby and just, so it really clearly showed me that is the decision I should make, is to buy a house. The only thing is, it doesn't change the situation of not, being able to afford it or whatever, but I found it really useful just to be able to get that clear in my body. And it is true what you said, the body has a clear understanding of what it wants.
Yeah.
And it's nice to do a meditation on something so practical.
Right.
I'm curious what people's experiences were here. We can share. Is there anyone to say about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great to hear that you got clarity. You got a certain kind of clarity, which is that clarity that you know what you want to do, but also clarity that it might not be possible right now, and to be realistic about that. And so, yeah, that's certainly been my experience doing this type of practice, is that, I will, I mean, that's the hope, is that you emerge from this with more clarity about what you might do, but then like there's more things in the world than your own thoughts and preferences, and you're living in context of other things, and so that can bring.
I often think that, so I do a version of a decision-making meditation too, and I guess I feel like my intention around it is not to actually make a final decision. My intention is to unblock the energy of the moment. Because I find often I'll be like spinning my head around and around. I gotta make the right decision. Here, and I'm just pouring out all this exhausting resources, trying to sort something out. But if I can just sort of like see that clearly, and just go and just go, I don't need to make the right decision for the future. I need to just make the right decision for right now. Just decide what to think about right now, what to do right now. It's like, I don't know what step to take. Well, just take any step. Just move. And it's like, just the act of doing that unblocks the energy, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I'm okay. Now I know that next moment there may be a new decision moment that'll be needed, but it's not like, I think the pressure of having to make the right decision for all future moments is one thing that paralyzes people in trying to make decisions, But you only need to make a decision for this moment, even though it has consequences,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if people here have thoughts about their thing with how they make decisions, how they found out about it. Oh, Emily's saying come to Georgian Bay. I would love to. I'd love to come up there. It's gorgeous. See, the thing is, where I'm a baby, my parents are here, and so all the support for that is here. Community. That's kind of why. Brooke felt an overwhelming sense of I don't know, and that's okay.
Right.
John felt he was right in his body. Mitch deciding may not make it so, but the clarity helps shed much needless baggage holding you back totally.
Yeah, another thing that I would
Here's
say
Chris
here.
saying,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that mine was simple, and I understand now that what makes the most sense is not what I want to do. Body-mind conflict. Yeah, how do you say it without when your body's telling you one thing, your mind's telling you something else?
Yeah. Well, another thing that I might mention with this is often what happens for me is there's actually a third option that comes out that you enter enter into the practice with
Yeah.
a binary
Yeah.
of I will and I will not.
Totally.
And sometimes when there is conflict, like a lot of the yoga guys are reporting, that can create a third option that's maybe better than the first two options. And so be open to that. Is having a third option emerge, a more creative.
Yeah, I think of that as a both and
Yeah.
move. It's like you have this false binary in your mind. I gotta do this or I gotta do this, and you have it set up as this false binary. And there's can often be many times in my life I've had that situation, and I've kind of come to a place of like realize that wait a second, actually there's a way in which I can somehow pan back and include both of these things in an outcome. You know, what if that's kind of the question. What if it wasn't either or? Is there a way in which both can sort of be there in some way? You know, and that might sound paradoxical, but like often to pan back like that, it just diffuses the conflict. And then eventually after a while you see that those two decisions which were a binary are actually on one side of a larger binary that you didn't see that you then have to transcend. But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess another thing I would say is, just to give the practice more context, is a lot of meditation practices, especially that you've done with Jeff, you know, it's about developing these skills, right? Concentration, clarity, equanimity, care is the way that I think you set it up. And what a lot of people struggle with is bringing those skills into their lives. And so you might be meditating a lot, but still really struggling in your life. And one of the things that I like about this practice, it really links the practice and the skills that you're developing into your life in a really practical way.
I love that. Yeah.
And so you can really see how to apply concentration, clarity, balance, and care to your life in a practical way. Not some kind of like, just breathe and your life will start getting better. It's like, no, like this is a way that you can actually link them together in a very practical, clear way.
No, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, those skills are, in my mind, the way I think of them is they are the headwaters of mental and emotional and spiritual health. They are right up there. There's nothing in your life that they won't enhance. And that includes the process of living your life, the process of making decisions, whatever it is. Let's just see what... Yeah, so Anne's found that the mind is pushing me one way and the body is pushing me the other. I wonder which one to trust. So typically, I mean, I can't answer that for you, but a lot of contemplatives say, the body. Because the body's not just the body's the heart, the body's what's in the world. The body, whereas the mind's not in the world in the same way. The mind's in the past and in the future. And so there is something with the body drawing on what is happening in the now that does, you know, there's a certain integrity to that information. That's all I would say. But you never know. It could be anything. Yeah, please.
I agree with what Jeff said. Another way to think about it, another perspective, is that in general, people have a way that they normally work. So like some people normally make decisions based off of how they feel, and some people normally make decisions based off of thoughts. And I think that it's actually really helpful to know what you normally do and work on the other skill. So if you normally make decisions based off of thoughts, experiment with making decisions based on how your body feels. Oh yeah, sorry. Baby's sleeping. Experiment with making decisions based on how your body feels, and just see what that's like and learn that skill. And similarly, if you're used to making decisions based on how you feel, try making decisions more based on thought and analysis and just learn that skill. Ultimately, we want to make decisions based off of an integrated mind and body. And that's the other thing that this practice can do, is that we learn how to work with each of the spaces and then make a decision that integrates the wisdom and knowledge from all of the parts of our body.
Exactly.
Because that really creates a life of goodness, is to be using the mind in a way that it is good.
Because you're no longer feeling split between all these inner conflicts.
Yeah.
That has been my experience of meditation, has been exactly that sense of integration, that what my mind is thinking is in line with what my body is feeling, is in line with how the world is responding to me. Somehow they're all just synchronized in a particular way, whereas earlier in my life it was like, I really wanted this, but then my body wanted that, but then the world was doing this to me, and it was like I was feeling constantly at odds with everything and myself. Not that still doesn't happen, but
right.
Yeah, this is fun talking about this. James Bauman, would you guys mind touching on the difference between equanimity and indifference? Actually, I have an entire piece I wrote about that on my website called "Can You Care About Something Too Much?" that really drills down into exactly that question, which is the common, everyone has that same stumbling block when it comes to equanimity and allowing the moment to be, not like accepting what's here. The acceptance part of it can seem very grotesque in the face of all the world's injustices and problems, and it can feel a lot like, I accept this, therefore I'm not going to do anything, therefore somehow I'm indifferent to it. So if I'll let you give an answer to it, but
sure.
My answer is pretty much on my can you care about something too much? What I would say is equanimity is the opposite of indifference. It's actually an augmented form of caring. It's allowing yourself to be so clear with the signal of what you're experiencing that you are, I don't know how I would put it. I would put it, it's a way that allows you to totally honor exactly what's here. And in the honoring, you're no longer in reactivity, but you're able to respond in this much more clear and sane and directed way. That's one way to put it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I might say that equanimity specifically and only applies to your sensory experience. And so thoughts are arising, body sensations are arising, you completely and totally allow them to arise and also pass away when they're done. But that does not apply to the world, objective situations, the decisions that you make in your life, the things that you say, the things that you do. So one way to answer that question is there's a clear line. Equanimity is about sensory experience, and then compassion really is about how you act and the things that you say. But I think that answer you can get a lot out of that answer, but I also think that it's more complicated than that. And this is a question that's alive in my own life right now, because you'll hear wisdom teachers talk about if something's happening in the world, you'll hear wisdom teachers say, well, let's experiment with being open to that, and what can we learn from being open to that. And so there is a gray area, and I think, as far as I can tell, it's some kind of non-conceptual balancing act that we all learn how to do, and it is wisdom to really know when and how to transcend, and when and how to fight for a specific outcome. And also it's a paradox, because as Jeff was kind of pointing to, sometimes being totally open to a situation allows you to respond to that situation effectively. So yeah, all that is to say it's complicated. I would say that that's like one of the most multifaceted skills in life, and especially in spiritual life, is like learning actually when and how to let go, and when and how to have a value that is unshaken.
No question. That's the serenity prayer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Wow, thanks for all the reports, everybody. It's great reading what everyone's saying. I'm not getting all the time to read it all here. It's kind of going by fast, but yeah, Mitch had some good stuff to say there. I've been trying to decide whether to revive a pre-pandemic business, and while I don't know what comes if I release myself from it, I felt so light thinking about what it would make space for. That's really interesting. Thanks, Heather. Well, friends, I think we're getting to that time. This has been a long do-nothing project. We did a lot of something today, accidentally.
I snuck it in.
Did. Also, you made a longer meditation, buddy. You broke the 25-minute wall. I think we went to 28 minutes.
Yeah, 28. I thought that was chill.
No, I think it's we're on the verge of more something now all the
There
time.
we go. Good.
Friends, it was good to hang out. I'll see you next week. I'm back in Canada, obviously. And if you hear of anyone has a house they want to give my family, or they want to give it to us for, whatever we can afford, we're down with that. We want a big community house. Actually, this is the vision. I'm gonna give you the vision.
So friends like Toby can sleep
The
in
vision
their
is
guest
like,
rooms.
I know exactly what it would look like. It would look like a giant kind of dilapidated mansion, and there'd be like 4 families living in it. There'd be like a big central area for meditation and for parties and for kitchen, and there'd be in the back, in the way back in the backyard, there'd be a little tiny, a gazebo for meditation and for practice, and there'd be tons of guest quarters for people to come visit, and I'm just putting it out there. Okay,
Put it out
mystical thing.
Also,
Yes,
if you want more Toby meditations, check out brightmind.com/do-nothing. Again, you have a month free. So there's more of where that came from.
All right, you guys can check the app out. All right, thanks everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.